All right, good day, great viewers and subscribers. Thank you for joining me on another great episode of your favorite political talk show, The Truth with Ben Jokes. It is another weekend in Nigeria and the hardship continues to get worse. Like I said earlier, Nigerians will experience 4 phases or levels of hardship under this regime, and the recent increase of fuel price from 617 naira to 1,000 and above signifies the beginning of the second phase of hardship under this administration. We have gone through the first phase, and as you all know, when the economy gets worse, crime rate increases. We are already overwhelmed by insecurity as a nation, but with petrol moving from 617 to over 1,000, the situation will further deteriorate. And by the time we get to the middle of the second phase of this hardship towards the end, the kind of things we'll begin to experience in this country, if I describe them now, you will not believe. But amidst all these, politicians are still having a field day looting the nation's resources with impunity. All the trillions stolen under Buhari by his ministers, aides, himself, even the Senate president then, Ahmed Lawan, all of them, all those trillions are gone and gone forever. Nigeria will never touch those monies again. And that is why this administration is doing the same. Under 1 year, Oando, owned by Wale Tinubu, has moved in worth from 74 billion to over 1 trillion. Akpabio, ministers, PAMSECs, advisors, aides, contractors, everyone grabbing what he can before the nation finally shuts down. And hours ago, EFCC boss came out and dropped a bombshell. He said corrupt officials, thieves in Nigeria can never be arrested, making it 2 times in 2 weeks that this EFCC chairman is calling Nigeria a failed state under Tinubu. And just as Nigerians were digesting the words of the EFCC chairman, another bombshell dropped, and it was the announcement of yet another resignation from Tinubu's cabinet. This time around, it is presidential spokesperson AJURI Ngelale who resigned. After so many lies, AJURI Ngelale finally decides to resign, and Nigerians reacted massively to that resignation, dragging his lying colleague, Bayo Ononuga, in the process. Before I show you details of these 2 updates and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you these videos.
I told them there's going to be a call out. I'm sure it won't take long before Labour joins them. And by the grace of God Almighty, we will all empty into the street and ensure that go they will. If they will not listen appropriately, if they think that anybody is going to allow them.
Do you think that this government is not listening?
No, I think this government is sheer irresponsible and incompetent. Nobody has time for pussyfooting and powdering their face anymore. What do you think they are doing? Do you know what's going on in the country? Do you know how many lives have been lost as a result of their useless policies that doesn't make sense? What kind of person who calls himself an accountant would not know that a nation that is so export dependent, you got to manage your exchange rate, how by crook or by means, or whatever means. What kind of person comes onto a chair? He has not even looked at the books. He doesn't even know what is there. He doesn't, it's gone, it's gone.
But the president have told Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, he is a reformer that is trying to take a painful route in reforming the economy and the nation.
Thank you. For a man who's using our money to be buying new jets, for a man who's buying Escalades bulletproof, for a man who's spending money like he's going out of fashion, is that how Deng Xiaoping managed China before he got to Xi Jinping? Is that how China? He's not reforming anything. He's just wasting everybody's time and creating chaos. And he's trying to get national anger to get to a point. It will be a boiling point. Let me tell you, my dear friend, everywhere you have seen a tipping point where people have just said enough, it has always been one senseless government policy after the other, with their lackeys coming to say, oh, it's okay. You are forgetting that we're talking about human lives here. We're talking about people's hunger. We're talking about the cost of living of the Nigerian people. What is their excuse?
They have absolutely no excuse. They are telling Nigerians to be patient while they swim in luxury. Do you know what is going on in the streets in this country? People are practically dropping dead. People are dying of hunger. And these APC guys are quick to talk about reforms, comparing their so-called reform to the kind of reforms we saw in China and places like Singapore. They forget that all these reforms they are talking about and comparing themselves to were production inclined. production-based reforms. They, on the other hand, hate production. They have been in government for more than 1 year, 3 months now. They have not taken any step towards production. Yet, they are talking about reforms. And just as Chief Segun Showunmi said in that interview, this is madness. And Nigerians can only overcome this madness if they flood the streets in massive protest against this evil. And that takes me to my next video. After the fuel price was increased from 617 naira to over 1,000 naira, look at the present economic realities on the streets of Nigeria.
Hours after some NNPCL representatives and the Minister of Petroleum Oil, Heineken Lokobiri, allegedly muted an increase in the price of premium motor spirit, PMS, the local markets and grocery shops reacted with a commensurate price hike of over 200% on some commodities, including transportation. These traders at the Mile 1 market described the situation as worrisome.
So the fuel problem is the issue now. So people are only thinking that everywhere is just dry. People are not coming to buy anything. We are just sitting down watching. In fact, we are one of the sellers that are in the market now.
As I'm talking to you now, from my house to my one now is 500, 600. Then going back the same thing. Then almost 1,150 for transportation. Then how much gain?
The way they bought it, according to them, that since they got it on a higher price, they will also give us on a higher price.
You heard that. Small and medium-scale business owners are in trouble under this regime. Last night, I reported that 8 million small businesses had collapsed in the last 1.5 years under Tinubu. And it was the president of the Association of Small Business Owners in Nigeria, Dr. Femi Egbesola, who put out that brutal statistic. So it is not me that formed it. Ladies and gentlemen, disaster is here and there is worse to come. Now, let us look at those updates where the EFCC chairman Ola Olukoyede dropped a bomb on Nigerians and Tinubu spokesperson AJURI Ngelale followed up with his own bomb. Let's begin with the one from EFCC chairman Ola Olukoyede. Look at how the papers reported it. Anti-corruption enforcement will never work in Nigeria. Jailing corrupt Nigerians will worsen problems. EFCC boss. EFCC chair Ola Olukoyede says Nigeria's anti-corruption fight focused on enforcement will never work, warning that prosecuting and jailing corrupt people will only worsen the situation. Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, is regarded as one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Mr. Olukoyede, who hosted the management team of the National Orientation Agency (NOA), led by its Director General Lanre Isaonilu at EFCC corporate headquarters in Jabi, Abuja on Wednesday, said the anti-graft agency under his watch is interested in financial crimes prevention because enforcement has never worked in the past 20 years. Upon my assumption of office, I made it known to Nigerians that one of the key areas that we will pursue seriously and vigorously is the area of prevention. Everything in the anti-corruption fight is not about enforcement. There are policy issues that are involved. It is not all about throwing bombs and chasing people with armored vehicles and machine guns. No, it has never worked and it will never work. We have been on the path of enforcement for 20 years now. Would anyone tell me that corruption is abating? Mr. Olukoyede said. The EFCC boss added, the more you do, the more progress you make in the area of recovery. In the area of prosecution and conviction of people, the deeper the problem becomes. As you are facing one, people are inventing new areas and getting smarter by the day. And so, we have come to realize that there is actually nothing fundamentally wrong with our people, but that our values have been bastardized over the years and also the system that we run. So I made it known to Nigerians and the entire world that we will pursue the issue of prevention very seriously. To achieve this, Mr. Olukoyede said he had begun amplifying anti-corruption enlightenment campaigns and establishing institutional structures noting that with the prevention, EFCC will no longer wait for money first to be stolen before it takes action. Now, that was the EFCC boss, Mr. Olaolukoyede there, publicly admitting that Nigeria is a failed state, because he just implied here that people cannot be prosecuted after they have clearly stolen money from government because there are policy issues that protect them in the system. He just admitted that corruption has won the battle against Nigeria under his watch and that of Tinubu. He said EFCC will now focus on prevention. How? How will EFCC prevent a governor from stealing or a minister from embezzling funds? How are you going to do it? Will you enter all the parastatals and be monitoring them every morning? You have even told them here that once they are able to steal the money, they are safe because the EFCC has failed at prosecution. They are now moving to prevention, which you and I know is not possible. He said they will start some enlightenment. Who are you going to enlighten? Not to steal money. Is it today you want to start preaching? EFCC now wants to be preaching. This is an encouragement for corrupt officials to continue because now you have said prosecutions are bound to fail. And this is a public admittance that all the present trials and cases before you are just a joke and will be dropped soon. I think Nigerians already knew that, but to come out and publicly say it is so devastating. But honestly, looking at it from another side, it is a good thing that this man, Olaolukoyede, is saying the whole truth. The other day, he said the system is corrupt, is rotten under Tinubu. And now he's coming out to admit that anti-corruption enforcement cannot work in Nigeria. So it is now over to the Nigerian people. You can hear clearly this thing is in the news. It went viral just hours ago. Everybody talking about it. What is going to be the reaction of the Nigerian people? Now, let us look at that update on the resignation of Tinubu's SA on media and publicity, AJURI Ngelale. Look at how the papers reported it. The special advisor to Tinubu on media and publicity, AJURI Ngelale, has stepped down from his role with immediate effect. In a statement issued by the presidency on Saturday, Ngelale said he had submitted a memo to the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, informing him of his plan to proceed on indefinite leave. Ngelale added that he has stepped down as the Special Presidential Envoy on Climate Action and chairman of the Presidential Steering Committee on Project Evergreen. According to Ngelale, he stepped down from his role to deal with medical matters presently affecting his nuclear family. The statement read, "On Friday, I submitted a memo to the Chief of Staff to the President informing my office that I am proceeding on an indefinite leave of absence to frontally deal with medical matters presently affecting my immediate nuclear family. While I fully appreciate that the ship of state waits for no man, this agonizing decision entailing a pause of my functions as a special advisor to the President on media and publicity, an official spokesperson of the President, Special Presidential Envoy on Climate Action, and Chairman Presidential Steering Committee on Project Evergreen, was taken after significant consultation with my family over the past several days as a vexatious medical situation has worsened at home. I look forward to returning to full-time national service when time, healing, and faith permit. I respectfully ask for some privacy for my family and me during this time." You heard that. But honestly, if we are to consider all the lies that AJURI Ngelale has told us in the last 1 year, we have every right to doubt this statement. We have every right not to believe this is resignation. But it is actually true. This one is true. And AJURI has taken a bow. He has stated family health concerns as his reasons for resigning. But many Nigerians are saying na lie, na buy or nonuga, na him push and comot for that office. Some are saying he's tired of cooking up lies for the government. But is it possible for this man to lie about the health of people within his nuclear family? But somebody will say, what can't these guys lie about? Let's look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here by Tunde says, the factory of falsehood has finally run out of production, exhausting its entire inventory of lies. Chai, this is harsh. Hanty White says, man is fed up of telling lies. Oh, and Omo Balufe here says, you have to be 100% evil-minded and be ready to throw your own parents under the bus. If you want to work perfectly with this criminal government, you must be 100% corrupt. That is it. I totally agree with that though. And this tweet here by Zoe Adeola says, Bayo Ononuga, chairman of Lies Effect at work here. Adeola here is proposing that it was Bayo Ononuga that chased AJURI out of that office. And this tweet here by Olufemi Oludotun says, did he attend any crusade over the night where altar call was made and he somehow managed to accept Jesus as his Lord and personal Savior? I ask because that guy delivers mendacity like he has sold his soul to Lucifer. Oh, this is harsh, but honestly, AJURI lies a lot. He lies effortlessly. And Abu Mariam here says, if he doesn't go for his treatment in a public hospital, may Almighty Allah not let him recover. May his case continue to worsen. He has always maintained that both Buhari and Tinubu have transformed Nigeria. He should now go and test that transformation. This may seem harsh, but it is just the truth. Every time you come on air and you lie that these guys have transformed Nigeria, now you say your family member is sick, why not take him to one of those hospitals that they have transformed? It's as simple as that. Nobody should say Abu Mariam is not in line here. She's actually very much in line. And Dapsy here says, the production line of lies has collapsed. The guy is out of steam. He is expected to produce lies at lightning speed and he can no longer cope. The guy gave up. Chai. You heard that. And as it appears, many Nigerians don't believe the reason that AJURI Ngelale gave for his resignation. But the bottom line is that AJURI has resigned and he is no longer in office. The entire regime one day will also not be in office. Where is Buhari today? 8 years seemed like a very long time, but Buhari has gone. Some people don't even talk about him anymore. And this is what every Nigerian should know. This is what we should know as human beings, that power is transient. What do you do with power when you use it to oppress the people? What is your gain? The essence of power is use it well, make life good, make life better, meaningful for your subordinates. But I guess this will never make sense to the people within the APC. And you as their supporter, you are seeing how everything is going against you. Think about your life. How was your life 9 years ago, or let's say 10 years ago, before the APC came in? How were you feeding? If you are a parent, how were you paying your children's school fees? If you are a student, how much was your school fees? Light bill, everything. If you talk, they will say 16 years of PDP. Now they've been there 9 years, 3 months now. And look at the damage they have done. And the CBN has told us that things will even be worse in the coming months. They said that about a week ago. I guess they already saw the imminent increase in the price of petrol. Normal drops in major cities that used to cost 100 to 200 naira under the PDP now cost between 1,000 to 1,200 naira under the APC. What a disaster. And few days ago, reports came out that Nigeria has become the third highest country in terms of indebtedness to the World Bank. When it comes to ugly ratings, devastating ratings, you see Nigeria ranking very high. But GDP, that we used to be number 1 in Africa, we have now dropped to number 5. We are going down to number 10. By the end of this year, I'll tell you our position, what our position has become in terms of GDP in Africa. This is the situation. And it is not going to get better under the APC. If Nigerians want to return to what our country used to be, if we want to return to having a country where we can live free, a country that we can be proud of as citizens, then we must come together and get the APC out of power. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go away. Don't go